Afternoon. Here to talk a little bit about Kimberly-Clark and what we've done with Convergence. For those of you that don't know the name Kimberly-Clark, well, we're a consumer goods company. Our goal is to lead the world in essentials for a better life. And really what we do is we focus on our consumers. We've got 42,000 and a half employees, 37 countries. We lead brands in 175 countries. Been in business 142 years. And pretty much, people are going to touch our products on a daily basis. So you may not know the products we make, but think names like Kleenex, Scott, Huggies, Pull-Ups, Kotex, Poise, Depend. Those are all products that we make. And pretty much if it comes out of your body or touches your body, we're there to catch it or wipe it up or do something with it. So we're focused on sustainability. So our businesses use a lot of raw materials from the earth. We're paper, and we use a lot of petroleum products. So recycling and long-term sustainability of our product is important to us. And we focus a lot on charity, so charitable organization. Some of the philosophies that we think about for Kimberly-Clark is, we use standards-based solutions. And we want to use a standard because it's effective for us. And we're only going to vary from a standard when it has a meaningful benefit. When we have an advantage, we can make some money off of that. We want to drive and enable our employees to be agile, make our business to be agile so that our key resource is effective. So the people, we don't want to put roadblocks in front of our people. And we are governed by our business. Our business drives our IT organization and how we should behave. So a bit about where we get into this IT and OT convergence. I'm part of an organization known as MOSAIC, and like large organizations, we like acronyms. So the acronym MOSAIC stands for something, and it was coined about 10 years ago. And it's really about the organization that supports industrial computing. So the plant floor systems. It's the name for the infrastructure plus the team. And, we have a vision and mission, but really, we're trying to take advantage of our key skills where the IT folks focus on the systems and the engineers focus on engineering a process. And hopefully we make engineers more efficient, and we can be that partner organization that can help them effectively deliver those systems that are needed to run machines. So the key point of that is, securely enable adoption of new manufacturing technologies. And that's really one of the key points is our team really is that internal systems integrator. So when our business comes to us, we're in that middle role to make sure that the secure component fits, that the business need is met, that the system is efficiently deployed. And then we're providing that guidance to the business so that our cost models are managed and they understand what the risks are in the world. So a little bit about the MOSAIC infrastructure design. Very, very closely aligned with the NIST standards. Really, it was built in guidance with one of the SP 95 folks, Brian Singer, some of you may know, helped us through a process of defining how we should build this environment. And really, a lot of this came from those discussions back in 2006, 2007 timeframe. But essentially, we have a separate Windows forest for our plant floor, separate from our enterprise. So we have different identities, two separate identities. And at each location, we have on-site infrastructure so that when we have those utility companies coming along and digging up roads and doing things like that, when they cut the fiber to our facility, our facility continues to run. So we put that infrastructure on site to make sure they continue to do their job, which is make money for Kimberly-Clark by shipping product. We design the Ethernet environments for all of our plants that come to us and ask for help. And we design that based upon their tolerance for risk. So if they have a process that's very difficult to start and maintain, we're going to invest more money into the network. If they have a process that's replicated many times and they can restart it very quickly, we'll take some more risk and cut some costs. But we share that one layer of network across our enterprise and our plant floor. So as one form of convergence, we have a single network, even though we have multiple logical functions. Within our network, we have unique addressing in the IP layer. So at each plant, we have a unique set of IP addresses that are dedicated for them. All of our components are typically off the shelf. We're not buying custom tools. We're buying things that are commodity products. And we have that split between an enterprise and a manufacturing zone, much like the Purdue model. Our networks are driven that way. We use layer 3 technology to control things, and the design was eventually aligned to go with the Rockwell and Cisco manufacturing reference architecture, very similar to the NIST standards. So we have multiple, within a facility we'll have upwards of a few hundred VLANs to support plants. So large functions at our facilities where we have a lot of assets, different assets that operate independently. So we have a lot of logical networks. And what we do is we essentially block communication between those different cells so that the size of a crater of a mistake is managed. So if you have a problem in a single control system, it's limited to that control system and doesn't bleed over to other machines. And my job is really to make sure that the architecture continues to be extendable and we can add new capabilities. So it's not a fixed environment, but the structure is put in such a way that we can grow. And so as the Internet of Things comes along, we have the responsibility to make that plug in. And we provide controlled access, so controlled remote access to all our machine lines to our vendors. So we have the ability to get that data or get remote access to systems from people wherever they are in the world. Picture gives you an idea of how we typically split apart the infrastructure. But colors kind of go along the lines, and you have the levels 0, 1, and 2. Really, those are our machine environments. That's the scope of the engineer. So if you think about OT, that's where they're going to live. And then where IT starts to come in is in the layer 3, where we get the supervisory systems, the HMI systems, the asset management systems, historians, whatnot, things that people are going to touch. So more likely you're going to have multiple systems that, your HMIs that are going to be in the level 2. But then my organization, which is really that cross between the IT organization, and we are IT people. We're not engineers. We came from the IT space, but learned what was required to support engineers. So we have, and in our cases, we're taking data from those level 2 networks and passing them on through to our enterprise so that we can get those dashboards and we can see that data in our corporate offices so that the people that need to make decisions on planning and purchasing can have that data in their fingertips. Some of the things that, what I think the internet technologies have done for us really is driven to those standard components. We build standard components, and in in the desire for our business to grow and to use our services, we had to rely on standard processes or standard delivery processes to enable that, because we're in a company of 42,000, our team is 7. So we support, we're delivering Rockwell applications, we're delivering servers, we're delivering PCs, we're delivering networks, we're delivering firewalls. We use standard processes, we use external parties to do those services, so we can just give them, I need a widget, configure the widget this way, and so we're specifying how the widgets get configured. We share our knowledge, so another form of that convergence is we have all of our corporate knowledge in a SharePoint system sitting on our enterprise side. Well, from the plant floor, we have access into our SharePoint environment. So we share that knowledge. So as we share the knowledge, as we learn more, the organization that we exist in becomes that consulting group to say, well, how did they fix that problem in that business unit? Help us fix it in ours. Like I said, we have some remote providers, so as we, whether it's a provider that's put in a system like an ABB drive system or a packaging system, we can have those people come in and help support or troubleshoot systems using a Citrix-like environment, so they can connect up to our enterprise, and we kind of put a layer of security in way so that their equipment doesn't touch our network. And we've done a lot with virtualization. We wouldn't be successful if we didn't use the virtualization technologies that are out there. And our engineers are now becoming virtual experts, so they're becoming aware of how to use VMware, whether that's on their laptop to provide them with tools to rapidly prototype or test new ideas, to supporting an existing machine or using it as their primary means of communication. And the types of systems that we put in place that have taken advantage of this MOSAIC environment kind of run the gamut, mostly related to machine or manufacturing, but we have warehousing systems where we're doing automated warehouse control flowing from our plant floor systems all the way up into our SAP systems. We have facility management where we're doing energy monitoring in our energy systems. We have safety systems that are riding on our networks. And so our team is the group that has to do all that integration of the plant floor systems, the ERP. So as we get into this convergence, all of the topics that have been talked about over the past few days are really right on point for us. I mean, a lot of the tools that are coming out now are plugging holes for us, are gonna close those gaps in our security model to say, I can now put a device in that instantly allows us to be more confident in deploying more systems. So, kind of along that line, those were the previous were things that help us out. These are the things that make my job more difficult. And really, probably the most difficult is securing the environment. And the reason why it becomes difficult is because my user base is not educated. They don't understand the concepts of security. They don't understand why it's important for us to patch systems on a timely interval. One of the points earlier today, they said, well, why can't we patch things like Facebook at the speed on a control system? It's like, well, we have engineers who are fearful of patching because it's going to break their system. They're afraid that the system will not run after being patched. And so that concept is just a foreign concept to people. So the number one requirement is keeping a system running. It's not keeping it secure. So engineers, that education layer is such a huge barrier for us that we need help. Education, and it's coming. So as more and more some of the capabilities of educating engineers and making them Ethernet aware, there's things like IP Advantage that's coming out that's talking about the IT and OT convergence, where you've got a training course that will teach IT people what OT means and teach the OT folks what IT means. And now you can share that knowledge and language, and really that's the most significant learning that I've done in my years of supporting this is really the language. We have such a different set of technical skills, and both are very technical in nature, but when you start trying to have a discussion between groups, between the engineering layer and the IT layer, you're speaking, it's like I'm speaking Chinese and you're speaking French. You don't understand. The other challenges that we have with internet technologies is everybody's an internet expert because they plug it in at home, so therefore they know how it works everywhere. So people in a central organization, we have standards. In a local organization, we don't have the level of control and the level of organizational alignment such that I can have somebody say, I understand all the security requirements of an environment at a plant. So you have an audit, or the only hammer you have is an audit organization. They'll come along and say, if you're going to get a black mark on your report card if we find this. And that's the only way you can lever people into change. So we have to change that through education. But when you have local folks doing one thing and the central folks thinking another thing, you've got a problem. The other challenge that we have, and this one's difficult, probably the most difficult, is we buy a lot of components from OEMs, from small parts, so we piece machines together. So our purchasing process isn't totally aligned with the NIST standards or with any standard to say you must comply with this standard. So when it comes in our door, we know it can be secured. So we have challenges when a vendor's trying to integrate with our systems and they don't have the tools, or they expect to be able to plug into a public internet port so they can remotely manage their device. Well, our corporate standards say you will not have internet unless it goes through a proxy and it's controlled by the IT organization. So you've got conflict, and that's a very hard conflict to get past. And then with the size of our organization, the pace of technology change is so vast and so rapid that the consumer pace is happening much quicker than what we can keep up with. So people want to have applications for iPads or iPhones so that they can look at their HMI reports and see what things are there. I mean, that's a challenge because those platforms are built for personal communication. They're not built for running a machine. So the security of platforms and the pace of change, that's just going to continue to change. So somebody's going to come out with another widget. It's like, how do we keep an environment up and stable so that our jobs and our businesses can continue and make money? Because that's what we're here for. I'm here because we're valuable. The information is valuable. It's useful. The data getting from the plant floor up into the offices helps us to control our costs and helps us to make more profit. So, I mean, the integration of those is just continuing. And so, for me, we've been on the convergence journey from an organizational perspective. Our business has been doing the information convergence for over a decade. The data has been coming from the plant floor and getting into those enterprise systems, but now as we get more internet technologies, the security challenges get put into place, and our businesses just don't understand why. Hey, I've been doing this forever. Why is it now all of a sudden not secure? So, the convergence is benefiting us, but at the same time has a lot of responsibilities. So, thanks.